to go. Jordan, come on up. So Jordan, CEO, founder, beer dreamer. I looked at his LinkedIn site. He's got like 17 other jobs. There, so I don't know what you're backing. He's done everything.
That is my dream.
But he's going to talk about crimes against beer, which I'm a big fan of beer and food. So
Yeah,
take it away.
I figured democracy wasn't important enough, so I came here tonight to talk to you guys about beer. So most of you guys have probably heard of beer. Some of you guys maybe even tried it. I don't know, maybe a few of you even like it, right? But my goal for tonight is for you to take everything that you think you know about beer and throw it out the window. So raise your hand if you've had beer. Raise your hand. Okay, now keep your hand up if you've had a pale light lager. Okay, everyone who, well, that's funny, the more hands went up, I'm not sure how that basically, all of your macro brands, your Bud, Miller, Coors, Heineken, Corona, and all of these guys that are kind of overwhelming and pretend like they're different beers, they're all the same thing. They're all watered down, light, pale lagers using corn, rice, and chemicals to make you cheap swill, and they've convinced you that this cheap swill is beer, which brings me to my main topic, which is crimes against beer. Now, this man is not doing hard time. This man is Garrett Oliver, the brewmaster at the Brooklyn Brewery, and one of the world's leading experts on food and beer. And in fact, he inspired this title with an interview that he did with Food and Wine magazine. So who do we blame for this? J'accuse Don Draper. Sorry, my French is not so good. Everything we know about beer comes from the big beer companies in Madison Avenue. It's as if everything we knew about food came from McDonald's, which, listen, will probably tell you probably is true. So this is what you see in a beer ad, which is remarkably hard to Google, so apologies for this picture, but it's dudes drinking ice-cold beer in a bar, usually out of a bottle. Maybe it's even a green bottle, but there's no food involved. It's not a dinner table. So crime number one, ice-cold beer. Cold reduces flavor. You know this if you've eaten cold food. And it masks all flavors except for bitterness and carbonation. So if you want to drink a cold, shitty beer, then drink it cold because you don't want to taste it. But if you want to enjoy your beer, frosted glassware is not cool. Sometimes people tell me all beer seems to taste the same. I say, of course it does, because you're drinking it ice cold. A nice chocolate imperial stout, tart, so it's not very different. So next crime, dudes. So everyone's made beer out to be like a guy thing, right? And it's true, men will always drink more cold, shitty beer. But women appreciate quality across categories, and I don't see why beer should be any different. Crime number three, 12-ounce bottles. Bottles are great for storage and transportation, but not really for enjoying flavor. That's why you don't see anyone drinking wine from the bottle, except for maybe this guy. And while we're at it, green bottles are 100% marketing. Beer skunks in light, and green bottles don't do anything to protect it. So, Heineken, Stella, I'm looking at you. Crime number four is price. So, big beer companies have told us that beer should be cheap, because that's what they make. But if you try an imperial stout, which has been bourbon barrel aged and bottle fermented using champagne yeast, then you'll start to understand why a Brooklyn Black Ops goes for $25. So crime number five, defamation. There's an old Monty Python joke that goes, how is American beer like making love in a canoe? They're both fucking close to water. So it's time to move past the image of beer at the ball game and bring it to the table. A nice saison with an aged Gouda, or a wee heavy Scotch ale with a tender beef stew. Beer is excellent with food. As good as or sometimes surpassing wine, but luckily change is afoot. So, celebrity chefs in New York, from Mario Batali, Daniel Boulud, Tom Colicchio, are all opening beer-themed restaurants right here in the culinary capital of the world. This man here, Greg Ember, was awarded a Sommelier of the Year by Food and Wine magazine for his restaurant Birch and Barley in DC for his beer list. They serve beer at 3 different temperatures depending on the type of beer. You don't need to do 3 different types of temperatures, but cold, medium cold, and not quite as cold like wine would do the trick. Okay, I started talking really fast. Okay, this is a happier picture of our friend Garrett. Perhaps he's excited because he just won the UK's equivalent of the James Beard Award for his Oxford Companion to Beer, or perhaps it's because he just opened up a new brewery in Sweden. So take that, Monty Python. American craft beer is conquering the world. 700 new breweries opened in the US in 2012 alone. that can be pretty daunting. $25 for a bottle of beer is a lot if it's the wrong beer. So this is my inspiration to help you navigate the new world of craft beer. So I'm Jordan Elpern-Waxman, founder and CEO of Beer Dreamer. We're doing curated e-commerce and digital content around craft beer. And I've got a selection of really great beers to taste at the back of the room, which I will be pouring